What's up, nature freaks?
What's up, guys?
Dave and Jeremy back again another Saturday, slap in the face.
Yep, and on this episode, we're going to talk all about the Nile monitor lizard and how to take care of him in captivity.
Let's go.
Nature in your face!
All right, guys, first thing I'd like to take care of is I'd like to apologize for the powder blue colored freak that's sitting next to me here.
Yeah, hey,
explain
yeah,
that?
yeah, I'm representing Man City. All right, they're on their U.S. tour of the English football. Okay, I'm gonna go see them after this video is made. I'm literally flying to Florida. I'm gonna go watch them play in Orlando. Okay, back up, just back up.
All right, so let's get to the real reason we're here, guys. This is a Nile monitor lizard, and we take care of many monitor lizards in captivity. We got Ackie monitors, we've got black throat monitors, we've got water monitors. What's the other one?
Roughneck
monitors,
yes,
Savannah monitors. So we have a good deal of experience with monitors. And we'd like to highlight this one because it is one of the more difficult monitor lizards in captivity, particularly for people who are beginners and don't have any experience with lizards. Might not be the best monitor to obtain, even though they're super cheap.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you hit that on the head. Usually, when you're a beginner, you typically get into the hobby with the cheaper animal. That's why leopard geckos are popular, ball pythons, the normal ones,
Because we don't know
snakes
that people can't afford.
Right. but these, they show up in pet stores and they're sold very, very cheap. They're small, and if you are inexperienced, this is a horrible beginner reptile, period. And especially monitor. This could ruin your whole monitor keeping career, because monitors are very rewarding. They're super intelligent animals, but these guys come out of the box ready to murder stuff.
Yes, right out of the egg. I mean, you try to pick them up, they'll bite you. And obviously, when they're smaller, a bite's not going to be that bad. But if you were to, let's say, adopt a medium to a big size one and he bites you, you're in big trouble. They can cause a lot of damage, not only with the teeth, but with this tail. They use this as a weapon, like most monitors would do. But these guys are just exceptionally defensive compared to some of the other monitors that we work with that we mentioned earlier in the video.
Yeah, they are highly defensive, and they're carnivorous, so they're built to, kill animals, tear stuff apart. They have extremely sharp claws. That's the thing there too, is we do trim the nails. We do educational shows with the animals, and just holding this lizard, if you did not trim the nails, you would be bleeding from just the nails alone digging into your skin. So that's something to consider.
Yeah, and having said all that, we're proof that these things can be trained to be gentle. And if you handle them regularly from the time they're small, or even when they're, this size, and you might want to wear a pair of gloves when you get something this size if it's the first time you've ever handled one, because like Jeremy said, they have those claws and those teeth. But it's not that difficult to train. It just takes time. If you have the time to pick them up, you can get them like this, dog tame. Look at this.
Yeah, and persistence, because the animal's afraid of you, and that's why it gets defensive. That's why it bites, tail whips. This one still tail whips every once in a while in its enclosure.
I'd say if you surprise them, like if you walk.
Yeah, you open it and you're like, "What's up?" Like, oh, my bad. And they can become very food driven. They call it food aggression. Like, they just get used to you opening. Here comes the food, and they're ready to rock and roll. They're not trying to offend you. They're not trying to attack you. They just want to eat food. So these are things that you need to be ready for. And you have the work pass, which if you were an experienced keeper, it wouldn't be a big deal. You would be prepared for this.
Yeah, and they're carnivorous, no veggies. They eat meat. You can give them, frozen rodents, obviously thawed, and then you can give them chicken, you can beef, any type of meat, fish.
Big fish eaters.
They love it. He had, it's funny, I was at the grocery store the other day, and there was these pork chops on sale, boneless pork chops.
You took the lizard with you or no?
I didn't take them with me.
Okay.
No. And I brought home these things.
I want that one.
He ate a good half pound of pork. You can tell too, that little belly there.
Look at that belly. Now, previously though, we just had the cicadas here, and this mug, I want to say he ate like 30 to 40 cicadas at least, just wearing them out. We just threw a ton of cicadas in there and just going to town eating those cicadas. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, in the wild when they're smaller, their diet is mainly insects. And another thing about these guys is they're great climbers. They're considered aquatic lizards. You can even see this little fin on the
laterally
tail.
compressed tail there.
Right? They use that as a paddle. But these things are known to dig up the nests of Nile crocodiles, tortoises. They love eggs. So you can even give them eggs. You can give them a regular chicken egg. I like to hard boil them because it's less messy. It's easier for them to eat. So that's one more thing that they can eat in their diet. But in the wild, they'll climb trees, they'll eat birds, they'll eat mammals. They have a very, very wide variety of foods. That
very, very varied.
Very varied
diet.
Yep. And it should be that way in captivity as well. You don't want to just give them one different type of food or one type of food. You want to give them different foods.
Yeah, whole prey items and then chunks of items. Sorry that I moved too fast. And you can look at this little tiny head. You know, it's built for getting into those small holes, and being the fact that they are found basically all over sub-Saharan Africa and along the Nile and other waterways, they're going to be, you know, crustacean eaters too. Like they would send anything they can fit in their mouth, overpower, crush, and devour, they're going to. And that little tiny head allows them to get in those burrows, raid the nest, grab crustaceans, shrimp, crabs, stuff like that. So
yeah, if you were to see their teeth, a lot of monitors have very pointed, sharp teeth. Not Nile monitors. Their teeth are very peg-like. That doesn't matter if they bite you.
They're less scary looking.
They're scary looking, but speaking from experience, as is he, you know, we take care of these in captivity, and sometimes when you're training them and you're handling them, you're going to get bit. Even a little one attached to your finger.
Oh yeah, he had a small one time, and he was like, "Hey, I'm going out of town. Can you babysit this thing?" And I just reached in there to change his water, and was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, but you know what? It's better to get bit when they're 7-8 inches than when they're 5-6 feet. And these guys can exceed 5 feet. The average length. I've had 2 of them from egg to adult, and they never got over 5 feet. Obviously, the males will get a little bit bigger than the females, but I was reading the record one was 8 feet. Was it 8?
I don't know. I guess 7. I think is like one of the bigger ones, but I don't know the record.
Yeah, I wouldn't call
that'd be massive for one of these things.
Wouldn't you call them moderately heavy? They're sort of thin, but they're not super thin like some of the smaller monitors.
Yes, it's not a Komodo, it's not a water monitor, it's not a croc monitor, but they do get bigger, longer than like your tegu typically. They compete with like an iguana for sure. They can get bigger than that, heavier than that.
I love the pattern and the color on these guys too.
Yeah,
this black
beautiful.
with these yellow ocelots.
Oh yeah.
It's great camouflage for this lizard. This is actually an apex predator, really the only predator they have to worry about. And they're so fast.
Yeah, this is like the African lizard, if you think about it.
It is.
Yeah.
But
the longest
a large crocodile is basically the only thing that would be able to take this down once it gets over 5-6 feet, because they're just too fast for other predators to catch, including the Nile crocodile.
Unless you're a human. Humans do consume these as well. I mean, they got a lot of meat on them.
It's in the water that they really have to worry about those crocodiles, but when they're out of the water, these things are just so fast. They're too big for birds of prey.
So in captivity, speaking of in the water, these things love to soak in the water. It helps them shed, so they like high humidity. They need a really good hot basking spot, upper 90s into the hundreds. They do really well with UVB. That's a good thing to give them. Now, obviously, if you're feeding them whole prey items, they can go a little bit without the UVB, but it's super beneficial to them. Not only does it make them look amazing, bring out the colors, but just overall general health. You can't beat providing animal UVB.
Yeah, and because we take these guys to the shows that we do educational shows, we're outdoors a lot, so they get plenty of natural sunlight. But we still use UV in captivity, because during the winter, obviously, we're not going outside, so we use those UV bulbs to kind of imitate that when they're not getting that UV.
Speaking of natural sunlight, this one started off getting more natural sunlight than any of our other animals, because this was an Illinois wild-caught Nile monitor. And I know you're thinking, that doesn't exist. All right, but it does, because it's right here, because we actually went out and we caught this lizard, and that's what Dave was talking about earlier. There's a whole video, it's a backstory of how we got this lizard. Well, I guess it was an escaped pet, don't you think?
Either that or somebody let it go. And I would
Elsa?
say that it was probably let go because nobody claimed it. I mean, the small town that we caught this thing in, it was actually in a tree in a backyard, and these people called the police, and obviously they don't know what to do. What are they going to do?
Shoot it?
So someone
on the ground, lizard!
Yeah, someone messaged us, it was on Facebook Messenger or something, and asked, they knew that we did shows, and they asked us if we would come out and check it out. And someone had sent a picture, and right away we knew it was on.
At first I thought it was a joke, though, because I saw a picture of the lizard on a tree, and I was like,
yeah,
that looks like a Nile monitor on a
oak tree.
Like an oak tree, yeah.
They don't grow in Africa.
Yeah, and but it turns out that they had seen this lizard for like 2 weeks hanging out in different yards and stuff, and when we finally caught it, it was not thin. It was thick and it was healthy. So it had been living a good life for at least 2 weeks in the wild.
Yeah, but go watch the video because we didn't. When we arrived at the place where they had been
it's a cool
seeing
video.
it,
It's a
it
cool
was
video.
not in a tree. We did a little bit of detective work. We kind of narrowed out where's this. If we were this lizard, where would we go?
Yeah.
We figured out it might be under the shed in the yard because there was kind of. It looked like I don't know some animal made a burrow under there. We shoved a camera under there. We could see the lizard. We ended up jacking the whole entire shed up with.
Now
a car
you're giving
jack.
it away. You're just like, go watch the. And you're just gonna give them all the cliff notes. It's a
I'll
super
say
cool
no
video.
more. Go
you gotta
watch
go
it.
watch how we. Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to keeping this lizard. Yeah. So tongue feeding is a great way to establish a rapport with your animal, because then they start to realize that you're not a threat. That's the biggest thing. They see you as a threat, and so if you can teach them like, hey, I equal food, a good treat. Now, I mean, you got to break that like, don't eat my hands. I
Yeah.
equal food, but you do want to establish a good relationship. And this one still can be a bit squirmy when held, but I don't think. Even
He's
from the
great.
day we caught this lizard,
Yeah.
it really hasn't tried to bite.
And you know what's surprising about
I
that?
almost think it's like, thank you for saving me. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Well, here's the thing. Usually, defensive behavior and the fact that he's, freaks out, it usually kind of goes hand in hand. But this one was only squirmy, but didn't try to bite or scratch or whip his tail, which is very surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, that's the first thing I look for when a lizard like this monitor starts freaking out. I'm a little leery and hesitant to put my hands near its face. But this one, even though he's freaking out, from day one, like Jeremy said, he was super sweet, never tried to bite, which tells me whoever had this before probably handled it a lot, and it was just freaking out because it kind of went rogue, that it was wild. But man, this thing's been a great show ambassador. I've taken it to dozens of shows.
I've used
Never
it in
had a
shows,
problem.
Yeah.
Never had a problem with it.
We
So,
actually took it to Purdue University, so I think that was one of its first shows.
Go Boilermakers!
To Purdue University. So, yeah, getting made his little debut there. So yeah, super cool lizards. Monitors in general, if you haven't gotten into them, they are incredible reptiles, animals to work with. Like I was saying earlier, very intelligent. And what I like to do is we like to throw, like some super worms or bugs in the enclosure, and this guy likes to dig and seek them out with that little snout there and his tongue smelling them out there. So yeah, keeping them, we're not gonna get too crazy with like the enclosure setups, but they do need a large enclosure, big space to be able to roam.
A lot of water.
Obviously, at least 3 or 4 times as big as the water. As big as the lizard. And then yeah, a lot of water. They like to climb branches. So this one is a little more technical because it's not just going to climb and sit. It's going to utilize that entire cage. Needs hot spots and a varied diet.
Yeah, and if you guys want to learn about other monitors, we do have several other episodes that highlight black throat monitors, water monitors. So check out some of those older videos that we made from a few years ago. But I don't know, I think that's going to wrap it up.
Yeah. We don't want to keep it too long. The lizard's getting a little crazy now.
There you go.
So he's still not biting, but wanting to climb on your face.
Settle down.
Which is definitely a monitor thing there, wanting to go for the head. No, you can't climb on top of my head, all right? You can't mess up the jersey, bro. All right?
Yeah,
Gotta represent.
Rip that.
Gotta
powder blue
represent.
everything up. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions about monitors to keep in captivity, leave a comment. Ask a question. We're happy to answer any of your questions. If you guys, like I said, have monitors in captivity, if you're just starting out and you want to know about them, like the video, subscribe to the channel,
And go City.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Nature in Your Face.